Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today at Juanette's Crafting Corner. In today's video, I thought we would make some envelopes for our journals. Now, I'm not quite sure why, but I have two envelope punch boards. One is a Stampin' Up! One. I'm not even sure if they make it anymore, but it was also originally from We Are Memory Keepers. And then I have a We Are Memory Keepers one. It also will make boxes and what have you. So the nice thing about them, now let me pull this one here. The nice thing about them is they give you the dimensions of what you would need to cut your paper to make an envelope. Now we'll make some without using the envelope punch board, but I like using this punch board. And what I thought we might use is some of my Florentine paper that I have in my Etsy store. I've got a couple of different packs. One pack I call my mega pack, and it has, is it 32 different designs of Florentine paper, all from Florence, Italy. And then I also have a mini pack that has 12 sheets. But this is the mega pack, some of the papers that you would get. So let's go ahead and start with this paper. I like this. I think that would be great for a journal because it has some pins and quills on it. I just dropped my score mechanism for my punch board. So to make, let's say we want to make, let's make a 3x5 envelope. So what you would need is 6 3/4 by 6 3/4 piece of paper. I know the scoreboard was blurry, so that's why I've inserted this picture so you can see what I was looking at. Let me bring in my paper trimmer, and we will just cut this paper down. So let's do 6 3/4 by 6 3/4. This is, I think, going to make a fairly small envelope, but it'll be fun to play around with them. Okay, so 6 3/4 by 6 3/4. And then it says to score it at 2 3/4. So what you would do is line your paper up and score it at 2 3/4 and punch it. So I punched it, and because Florentine paper is not like strong, meaning it's not like cardstock, you're going to want to score a little bit on the, softer edge or not quite so hard. So again, 2 3/4 punch, and then score your paper. So you would do that on 2 of the sides. And then what you do for this side is you line this little thing sticking out there. What you're going to do is line it up right there, and either that or you also can line this up with that notch. Either way. So we're going to punch and then score. Turn it to the other side. Line that up with that line. So we've got a line there and a line there. Going to line both those up, punch, and score. And then the nice thing this thing does, it also has a corner rounder. So we're just going to corner round every single one of these tips here. Okay, and then all you have to do is fold in on those lines. And then you've got a beautiful little envelope. And this one basically is already decorated because it's the beautiful Florentine paper. Okay, now let's look, turn it over and see. Now see, that's perfect right there because we have our pin here, our quill there. So that's exactly where we need to glue these. So I'm just going to bring in a little bit of my Beacon's 3-in-1 glue, and I'm going to add some along here and then along there. And now you could, if you wanted to, you could add something on here to kind of decorate it up a little bit more. Let's pull in some Italian book page. I have all of my book pages in file folders labeled. So I've got one for French, for Italian, Hebrew, every kind of book page you would want. So let's just pull out some and see what, let's see, even that's kind of cool there. Here's a bigger piece. I kind of like that. Yeah, let's just add this up to that corner. The other thing we could add is a stamp too. Let's just tear this down. I like that it has the red and the black ink. And let's see if I want to add all of that. I don't, because I don't want to cover this part of the pin up. So I'm going to tear this along here. I could do that. Let me bring in my stamps and we will look and see what kind of stamps I have. Now, I have this one that has real postage stamps, but I don't know if I have any Italian ones. Let's see which one. I've got some brown ones. Let's just kind of flip through here. I don't know if I want brown, maybe a little bit more color. I've got some red there. Let's see, where's that from? Gosh, I can't even tell where that's from, but I kind of like that one. Let's put that one on there. And then we'll see if we want some of this book page on here too. That could go there. Could go there. No, I don't like that. We could go like that and wrap it around. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to put it there and wrap it around. Let me grab a glue sheet and a glue stick, and we will have one envelope done. And then, of course, you would put something inside of them. But I have so much of this Florentine paper that I thought I want to use some of it up. And then since I used liquid glue, it didn't get this one edge, so I'm just going to take my glue stick and kind of rub it there. Okay, and then I have a stamp that is a postage stamp, like a canceled postage stamp thing. I'm going to take that and I'm going to get some black ink. I apologize. I was going to use my archival ink, but I don't like using it because it stains the stamp. So let's grab a baby wipe so I can clean this stamp off as soon as I stamp it. There, okay. All right, one envelope done. Let's make a bigger one. And see what we can come up with and use a different paper. Now what I thought would be best is to use paper that is not directional. There's a lot of different directions to it. Boy, there's so many to pick from. Let's see here. That's pretty. That's kind of cool. Oh, you know what? For my French journal, I have some fleur-de-lis paper. Yeah, let's use this blue paper. Okay, pull this off to the side. And let's see how wide this is. I think they were 9.5 inches in width. So let's just double check down here. You can't see, I apologize. Yeah, it's 9 3/4. So let's go up here and see where it says 9 3/4. There's 9 1/4. 9 3/4, 9 3/4 by 9 3/4. And so you would score it at 3 1/8. So let's just cut this down at 9 3/4. So 9 3/4, right there. And then what did I say? We would score it at 3 1/8. Double check. Yeah, 3 1/8. It's going to make a really long, skinny envelope. So there's the 3 and that's the 8. So 3 1/8. We're going to do that and score it. Now, this is the reason I like the We Are Memory Keepers punch board as opposed to this one. I'm going to show you why. This one ends here, and so as you're scoring, it would drop off. Let me pull in the other scoreboard, and I'll show you why I like it. This one, this folds out like this, and then this folds out like this. So you have a little bit, a longer area to score it. So let's see, 3 1/8 right there, 3 1/8. So now I'm able to score this all the way down. That's why this We Are Memory Keepers one is a better one. Okay, so I've done that. Now I'm going to flip it over to the opposite side and punch and score at 3 1/8. And then here, we're going to then come here, and I'm going to line this up. This is the score line that I was at. I don't know why it says envelope score line A and B. I'm not quite sure what that is, but we're just going to score it there and go here. And then flip it around and do the other side. So line this up, this little divot here, right there. Punch and then score. And then it's not punching completely where it needs to, but that's no big deal. We can just come in with a pair of scissors if we need to. Okay, let's see if it will punch out. I think on this one, yeah, this is where you punch out the corner rounder. Yeah, okay. This one's a little bit different. It's almost like that got caught there, no? I thought it was there. I think you can do either side. Let's try this guy. Let's try this side and see if it will punch better. If not, we'll just pull in our... Nope, that's not punching. Let's go pull in our other punch. See if it will punch this way. It did punch it, but then it kind of did that funky thing. Let's see here. Okay, it's not punching real well. I'm going to show you a little trick. If that happens, it's because the paper is basically too thin. So what you do is you just pull in another piece of paper if that happens. So what you would do is you bring in another piece of paper and you put it corner to corner, line them up. That helps that become thicker. Then you put both pieces of paper in there and it punches it. So that's how you solve that. That's kind of a little quick tip Thursday. Okay, so now we have scored the edges here. Let's bring this in. This is really a long envelope. I may have to turn that in, but actually that will work great because this part, I don't know why that punched that like that. So what I'm going to do, those are going to be our sides. I'm going to bring that up like that. Let me get rid of this. This paper kind of sticks to this board. And what I'm going to do is fold it over. What I should have done is line that up there. And then if I bring it here, then I'm going to have a straight line. So I'm going to line that there and line that there. And then what I'm going to do is bring in the paper trimmer and trim that like that. So we're going to lay this in here, right on that line. Okay, that helped that. Okay, that's a little bit better. And then what we're going to do is go ahead and glue it down. Now this is really a nice long envelope. So we're just gonna glue it there and glue it here. Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't glue down. I may have gotten a little bit of glue in there, so I'm going to have to be careful. You know, that had done that too on that side. So then the glue is kind of seeping in. Okay, alrighty. And then what we'll do is we will fold this over. And I'm going to just do it with the line there. I will use those fleur-de-lis as my guide. So we have a straight line. Perfect. And then what I'll do is glue that down so that it looks a little bit better. And then it gives a little bit of a decorative edge or look on the inside of the envelope. Okay. Yeah, that's a tall, skinny one, isn't it? And it would have been better this way. Oh, rats. Because they're upside down, and you know that irritates me. I don't like that. How can I fix that? Let's see. Am I going to mess it up here? Probably. Let's just pull this like this. Let's see what happens. You know, it's only paper. We do it like that. That's sticky there, but it's better. So what we're going to do is, and we will fix that. That irritates me. So what we're going to do is we're going to line it. That's what we'll do to fix that. So what we'll do is, let's open this up. And what we'll do is we will add glue here now to this whole area. There's always a way to fix everything. And since I have this beautiful leftover piece, we're just going to lay that like that. And then we will trim it. Okay. We will come in with our scissors and trim around it, and that strengthens that up anyway. So let's go in here like this. What I need is long scissors. Let me get my big scissors here. I need the small ones for this corner here, but I need the bigger ones for that long piece. And then these scraps right here, you can still use them for tabs and what have you, so don't get rid of them. Okay, you save that. Let's bring in a little bit more glue over here. Yeah, we fixed that, didn't we? We showed that piece of paper. And then okay. So then the next thing is we need to glue the envelope. So we can bring in our glue again. And glue down both sides. Actually, that's even prettier. I like that better. Well, isn't that fun? How we took something that is a real goof, because that was upside down, and we made it even better. Okay, now let's decide how we want to decorate this front. I mean, it's almost just as pretty like that. But because it is a fleur-de-lis, let's pull in some French book page and see what we can add to it. What would be best is like a big name, an address, or something like that. I'm dropping stuff, but I'm not going to take the time to pick it up. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Either that or the front of a what about this? Let's see what that would look like. Do I have anything else? That's something else. Oh, you know what else I had is in my French ephemera box. I'm going to show you what I do. Is those are all the ones I keep that are gilded or gold, but either this one, and of course I threw the other piece of paper back in, but either that or, let me show you something that I have over here. What I do is I buy these big old tote boxes. They have clips on them and they have a handle. And I don't know if you could see, this one says French. This has all of my French ephemera in it, everything from France. So let's see what we could pull out. That's kind of fun. That's different. I know in one corner I had a bunch of the ends of books that I had saved. Oh, there's some French stamps. This is what I was looking for, that kind of stuff. Let's see here. That is kind of cool there. It's big though. I'm not finding what I want. Although, that's kind of cool because it does say Paris there. What I can do is cut part of that off. I do like that because it has the address on there. Yeah. I'm going to take a tear ruler and I'm going to tear it off down there where it says London. Okay. And then we'll square this up a little bit. Almost cut off the 26, but that's all right. Okay. Yeah, that looks okay on there. And let's bring in a glue page. And we'll just add this address on the front of that envelope, and then we'll see if we can find a French stamp. Close this so I can see more what it would look like. So at about there, let's do that. Okay, and then let's see these French stamps. There's a blue one, a purple one. That one's kind of nice. Ooh, that one's really nice. I think that's an original for sure. That one's kind of nice too. Let's put, I like this one. This one that really is a contrasting color. It's got some blue, but it also has some red. And I have some scissors here that are hair cutting scissors, and they're pretty nice for cutting stamps. So we're just going to bring these in. And it kind of gives you the same, let's turn it like this and see what this looks like. Yeah, this is better like this. Kind of gives you that little bit of a jaggedy edge. Okay, a real French stamp here up in that corner. And then once again, let's bring in our canceled postage stamp and stamp that. Okay, all righty. Now let's make an envelope without using the punch board. And we could even decorate those these envelopes up more if we want to, but let's for now set this stuff aside, and let's bring in another piece of paper and see what we want to use. This is pretty. I do like that. That's a possibility. Actually, let's just do that, okay? Let's just use that piece of paper. And this is perfect on not a lot, but on some of the papers you're going to get this barcode. It means that it's definitely Florentine paper. If you order Florentine paper and some of these don't have that on there, it's not real Florentine paper. This says made in Italy. So that's the real deal. So let's cut this down and make it about, let's see, how do I want to do this? Let's have the envelope be 6 inches. Let's do 6.5, okay? Because we're going to bring it in. So we have it at like 6.5, and we're going to fold this up. So that's going to be the front of the envelope. We'll do that like that, okay? And then we're going to fold this over to have it be the flap, okay? And then we want some sides to come in. So let's fold this in like that. And then we'll turn it over and do the same thing. Okay. And then what we're going to do is cut these off. We will angle in. Well, let's first cut this off. I'm going to have to think about where I'm going to angle it, which direction, but we'll cut that off. And then we'll cut this off. And we'll fold that in, and then we need to cut these edges off here. And actually what you could do is we can just actually cut them here and then cut them there. And what we can do is just fold them in so it's a little bit of a decorative edge, and we're just going to angle these ever so slightly like that. This side is definitely longer, but that's all right. Okay. Bring in a glue page, and we're going to glue these down just to make a little decorative edge there. And the same thing over here. And then we need to trim this off ever so slightly. It's a little bit too wide. I'm just going to come in here. And that way that fits there like that. It's still a little bit too wide, I can tell. Kind of just trim ever so slightly, a little bit more. Okay, let's see if that works better. Yes, and yes. And then let's trim these down at an angle. We'll go like this and like that. I like seeing the difference of the pattern, a little bit different pattern on the edge. actually what I can, well, actually, I didn't glue that down, so I think that's okay. You're just going to make sure you don't put glue way up here. You're only going to want it on the one only up to there. There. Nice little envelope. Okay, let's see what we can do to make this better. One thing is, let's fold this over and make this a little bit stronger and decorative. So we're going to do that. And let's add glue. Okay. And then what you could do is corner round those after they dry a little bit. I don't want to do it yet until I'm sure that that is dry. But I like the way that looks. Yeah. So let's think about a stamp for that. Did we have one of these stamps, these French ones? Let's see here. This blue one. Kind of a lavender one. I like the blue one. Let's put that on there for one thing. And then our, ooh, I'm trying to make sure that is stuck down, and I just pulled it up. Okay, let's take our canceled stamp here. Okay, that's pretty dark there. Okay, and then we're going to bring in our corner rounder. Hopefully that has dried enough to where it will cut. I'm very fastidious about my stamps. Okay, yes it did. And I want something also on the front of this. That was a little difficult there, but it did round it. It did cut it. I just want to make sure that that's nice and open. Okay. Yeah, we need something here. Let me think about what we could put there. I almost don't want, there's already writing there. You know what, for now I'm going to leave it. I'm not quite sure what to do. Now, oh, I know what we could do. Let's bring in some twine to wrap around that. Oh, and this is another thing I just spotted out of the corner of my eye. I haven't used these skeleton leaves in a while. let's see what a skeleton leaf would look like, because that adds another little element onto that, but it's not the I think the bigger one was better, but it's not writing. And I've got so many of these. I do like this one. I like that big one. Let's put that on there. Yeah, I can't remember where I got these, but that's very cool. Okay, so instead of the twine, let's add a skeleton leaf. And what I'm going to do is take a glue stick. I'm going to take my small one here, and I'm going to try to add it. It will disappear. It was almost tearing. Oh gosh, we're out of glue stick here. This is the end of this one. This will it shows up purple, but it will disappear. Hopefully I can pull this off. Oh, look how it did the glue there. That's kind of cool. Yeah. I'm going to just lay this on here. And it did tear a little bit right in there, but yeah. This is kind of cool, different. And like I said, this glue will dry and the purple will disappear. Let's make one more using the envelope punch board because it really makes it so easy. So I want to make, let's say, 4x6. So I need 8 3/8 paper, and we're going to score it at 3.5. So 8 3/8. Ooh, where's 8 3/8 there? Let's see. I've got this little ruler here. Where's the 3/8 mark? I have to look over here. The 3/8 mark is between the quarter and the half. Okay. 8 3/8. So between the quarter. Oh, wait. 8. So that's the quarter and that's the half. So that would be 8 3/8 there. Oops. Is this not, did I not have that right? So it's between the quarter and the half. So it'd be right there. And then 8 3/8 here. Only just a sliver needs to come off. This has been here, this little ruler thing. Oh, you can't see this little ruler thing here. That has been there since my card making days, because in card making, everything is a little bit more exact. I had printed that off of the internet and taped it there so I could help. It could help remind me about measurements and stuff, because sometimes those the rulers, the paper cutters are not labeled the whole way. Okay, so I said, let's see, 3.5 is where we need to score it. So that's nice and easy. And then 3.5 here. And by the way, I looked on Amazon to see if this scoreboard was there, and it is listed there. Right now it says they're out of stock, but it did say that they're expecting a shipment in. So I did link it in the description box, because I'm telling you, it really does help to have this little tool. You can make any size envelope you want, and it's just worth it. It's just so worth it. So, and I'm showing you how to use it. So, okay. And it's not the fault of the corner rounder mechanism of this that it's not cutting it. It's the paper. The paper's just too thin for it. And that's with any corner rounder. You'll notice sometimes they don't cut if the paper's too thin. So, yeah. It's very seldom I make an envelope freehand. Okay. And it just folds up nicely, so easily. So that just goes in like that. That goes in like that. And it just sits on my shelf. So we're going to have a nice 4x6 envelope, perfect envelope here. And let's see, we'll have to decide which is going to be the top and which is going to be the bottom. So we could have it like that. I do like the butterfly showing upward like that. It's upside down there. So we're going to look at our envelope, and I'm going to bring you in just a tiny bit so you can see it a little bit better. So even though the butterfly is upside down there, it's right side up this way. So we're going to glue these flaps down here. A little bit here. Sometimes that's why I don't like a glue stick. I wasn't able to measure that quite well enough. Okay, but I wiped it off. All right, let's see what we want on the front of this. Now, I pulled out my ephemera book for butterflies and birds, and I saw these stamps in here. And here's a stamp here. I kind of like it, but I would trim off a lot of that white. So I will use that stamp. And let's bring in those scissors once again. These scissors are also linked in the description box. They are actually barber scissors or hair cutting scissors. This is a sticker, actually. Yeah, I like that. I might have a little bit of white on it, so I need to, oops, come in here with a little bit of ink and ink that up. And boy, if I had the word butterfly, big word of butterfly across there, that would be fun, but I don't know yet what we're gonna put. Am I gonna be able to get this undone? but I don't know how sticky that is, so I'm going to add a little more glue here. Just double check. Okay, and then a stamp, our cancel stamp. And I've got another one that has the Eiffel Tower on it, and then the cancel part there that says par avion. Let's see, do I want to use a dark brown? I don't know if it's going to show. I better use the black. I want it to show. And if I use the brown, I don't know if it will. Yeah, that's okay. That's not bad. Oops, sorry. Pretty loud. Okay, let's think about what we want on the front. Okay, I found a couple of things. One is this big butterfly that I thought would be cool. But then this is also some paper. This is French ledger paper. I think it's from the 1600s. I'd have to look. It's in my shop, but I like it. Let's tear a piece of this down. And once again, I do like when I wrap things around. I could put that there and then wrap it around. That's what we're going to do. Okay, we're going to glue this first. Oh, I'd already taken the lid off, and then it scared me because my hand was all sticky. Okay, let's pull that up. I'm going to lay that down at about there. And then, like I said, I like wrapping it around so that it decorates the other side too with a little bit of script. And then let's put our butterfly on. I'm going to use glue stick, but then I'm also going to add some other glue just because I don't know if the glue stick will stick as well as I need it to. Sometimes this liquid glue doesn't go all the way to the edge. That's why the glue stick is good, because it will go all the way to the edge. Kind of covers up the Eiffel Tower, but yeah, I think that's okay. All right, well, let's do a quick review of everything that we made. I think we made some really fun envelopes here. So our butterfly one with our script, okay, and then, like I said, that purple left. This was with the skeleton leaf. And we've got the book page, or again, it was the same paper. This paper, I love this paper. It's rag paper. I think it's rag paper. I don't know. Maybe not, but it's cool paper. But anyway, I used that as a tab. And then we have the first one we made. We've got the Italian script there. And then we have this French one here. So I just need to now make some things to go in them. I hope you enjoyed this video and it gave you some ideas for some envelopes. And thanks, you guys. I will see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.